Hi and welcome back to this tutorial about how to create an inventory system in Godot. We're going to add item stacking. To do this, we need to save the maximum stack size of each item somewhere. I added it inside the item resource. Update our items. Potion will have 10, mana potion 15, and the sword won't be able to be stacked, so let's set it to 1. We will update the swap slot function to add if we want the slot to be stacked or not. We will check if it should stack and if the origin item is the same as the destination item. If not, we use what we had before. We add the quantity from both stacks and get the mass quantity from that item. Both stacks have the same item, so we don't care which item we check. If the added quantity is smaller than the max quantity, it means that the origin stack gets empty, and the destination stack gets the added quantity. If it is bigger, we check if the destination stack has the mass quantity already, and swap the slot if it does. We call swap slot again, but we will tell it to not stack. If not, the destination stack will have the mass quantity and the origin stack the rest. Let's test it. It works. I forgot to check the slot array index bounds in these two functions. Let's use an assert to be sure we don't pass them a bad index. Let's change the cursor type. I will create an autoload that will be in charge of changing the cursor. When the node is created, it will change the cursor, can drop, forbidden, and arrow. Let's try it, and yes, it's working. I will fix the issue where the cursor changed to the arrow version when outside the inventory. We will create a control under the inventory, set its layout to full rect, the mouse filter to stop, and not visible by default. We will use the notifications drag begin and drag end to toggle its visibility. Because the control doesn't have any drag and drop functionality implemented, it will show the forbidden cursor. Let's fix the issue where, if I drop the item, the cursor doesn't change until we move the mouse. To fix this, we are going to move the mouse by code to the same position. Let's fix the issue where the swords show a quantity bigger than the max quantity. If the player buys 10 items, I don't care in how many or which stack they end, so let's add that. The function add item will have an item, the quantity, and if it should try to stack them. It will return the number of items it couldn't be added. If it should stack, we will check each slot to find a slot with the same item. If we find one, we will add the quantity of that slot to the quantity we want to add. If that new quantity is bigger or equal than the mass quantity of the item, and the quantity of the slot isn't the same as the mass quantity, we will fill that slot with the mass quantity, and subtract the mass quantity to the new quantity. The loop will continue, and if the quantity we want to add is smaller than the mass quantity, we will set the slot with that quantity and break out of the loop. Then we will do a while loop, calling the addItem function with the mass quantity and telling it not to stack, until the quantity left is smaller than the max quantity. If there are items to add left, We will try to find empty slots and add them there. If we don't find any empty slot, we will return the overflow. Let's use the new function to add items. I'm printing out the overflow. To keep testing stuff, let's randomly toggle if it should stack or not. Every time I run the project, the same items appear. We will fix that by calling randomize in our main class. Let's make another inventory with its own set of items and make it possible to drag and drop between inventories. For example, imagine the new inventory is a chest. Let's create an inventory resource for the new node. As you can see, there are a few issues we need to fix. Let's fix the preview going under the new inventory. This happened because the previews are at the same level as the control that create them. To fix this is a bit hacky, but we will add a node 2D with a higher C index between our pivot and the preview. Control don't have a C index property, so that's why we are using a node 2D. I've implemented swapping items from different inventories off screen, like this. Let's look at the code. I've changed the function canDropData to remove the part where we were checking if the inventory index we were trying to drop is the same as the inventory index we were dropping the item to. For the function dropData, we get the origin and destiny inventory first. If they are the same one, we do the same thing we did before. If the origin inventory is a null, we get the item stack of each inventory and do the following checks. If the destination slot is empty, we set the origin slot to null and move its content to the destination slot. If the items are different, we swap the content. If they are the same item, we check if the other quantity is bigger than the max quantity of the item. If it's bigger, we set the destination quantity to the max quantity and set the origin quantity to the rest. If the other quantity is smaller, then we just move the other quantity to the destination slot and empty the origin one. That's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you later.